What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get into the picks. Monday, March 3rd, let's talk some college hoops. Get to ring the bell for you all. 4 out of the 5 best bets did cash yesterday, and boy, wasn't it nice when they, cashed with some ease. Some single point favorites ended up winning by double digits and was never really in reach. The only bet we did lose was the Northern Iowa game, which they fell pretty substantial, right? Close, knotted up at halftime, and it just kind of slipped away from Northern Iowa after that second half commenced. But that's okay. We'll take it. Leans did well as well. And outside of, like I said, the Hurricanes over in the hockey realm, this would have been a very, very good Sunday for TBM Sports. Okay, but let's get into it. You guys came here for the picks. That's what I'm going to deliver on. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and please join us. Totally free to do so. If you like sports betting, you want to hear my analysis, my takes, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free, and let's get right into it. Okay, we are going to use OUTLIER to break this all down. So make sure you guys give them a look. 7-day free trial. Links down below. Make the best bet you can and have fun with the features, simply put. And if you bet any kind of significance, this is a very priceless tool to add to your repertoire. Okay, but let's get into the odds. Some of the games that we are going to talk about are ones that I do have leans on. This is a kind of a weird spot where I could probably make 5 or 6 bets today and be confident. However, in terms of what I'm actually going to give out and what I'm actually going to play, it's going to be it's only going to be 2, but I am going to still pass along some of these games that I do have leans on. The only issue I have is my numbers are lining up with a lot of spots that I don't like the conditions, if that makes sense. So I don't like the travel spot, but I like the game in itself if we were played on a neutral with equal rest, and that's kind of where I dissect these games, and like, for example, Austin Peay favored them yesterday, 13-18 on the season, and they got the job done by double digits against a North Florida team that, pretty much everybody and their brother said that they pretty much counted out, okay? But now as they take on one of the class teams in conference, North Alabama, the Lions laying 12.5 at home, and if you look at Austin Peay over the last 10 or so games, they've covered a 12.5 point spot pretty much every single time. So I really do want to take Austin Peay. I also do have a shade towards the over 145.5. Austin Peay does not play a lick of defense and a lick of offense. And that's where you can kind of see this here by some of the numbers that we get. 261st in offense in college basketball, and on defense, 262nd in defense. So that's kind of where the only thing they have their hats to hang their hats on is the fact that they play a little bit of scrappy style of basketball. They do get it done on the offensive glass, but outside that, guys, there's really no reason why you would back them. So this is kind of where, if you envision a spot where Austin Peay can get into or close to 70 points against the North Alabama Lions, then yeah, I would go for the over. The previous matchup, I think, was a little bit under that, so maybe a little bit on the road, they get this one done. And judging by yesterday's affair, and it's kind of what turned me on to it, honestly, in the first place, if you look at yesterday's affair, they did run it up a little bit, so it's a lean. It's not enough for me to get involved, and I would still favor the plus 12.5, but they played late last night and have to go on the road now, so I'm going to stay away from this one, okay? But I think Austin Peay in the over would be the side that I would favor in this matchup, okay? Next, Bethune-Cookman. I like them. If you can lay -3, they've played a lot of close games, but going against Grambling State 9-19, the Wildcats of BCU have won and covered, I think, a few games in a row, so they got a little bit of a streak going. Look at the money; it's kind of much. Nothing really clear-cut advantage, but I do think Bethune-Cookman is the right side, so that would be a lean towards -3. If you want to take the 3 in the hook for plus 100, go for it, but for me, guys, it's a very strong lean. Bethune-Cookman, at least a money line -160. I would, if you guys involve that into a dance partner and a parlay, that would be pretty appetizing for me if I was going to go that route. Okay, but the first play we will get into, Wake Forest and Duke. Duke laying 20.5. And this is kind of one of those I told you so, guys. We've been kind of laying Duke quietly behind the scenes. Haven't really been giving it out on the channel because I know they're due for a pullback. But when we talk about this game, guys, I really have no reason not to at this point. There is some injury concerns with what happens, within kind of Duke get a little bit of banged up, but I think it's all systems go. Flags ready to go. And when we talk about this, guys, you can look into some of the people within the defense of Duke that are banged up. That's the only thing that does concern me. However, there's something with the Wake Forest team. I don't think that they're going to be able to score with or without defense, and I think that the reserves that Duke will deploy are good enough to keep this Wake Forest team at bay. Wake Forest is 20-9 on the season, 13-16 overall. And if you want to look into the totals a little bit, there is kind of an attractiveness to taking the over 143.5 as well. This number has been bought up to 145, so keep that in mind. But I think that when it comes down to it, guys, it's a crappy Wake team that is, I think, a benefit of some of the softer scheduling in the ACC. But this one is one of the home games left in Cameron Indoor Stadium for the Blue Devils. I think they roll at home. They've covered 22.5, 24.5, 9.5, 14.5. And 18.5. And the reason why I'm giving you guys all those spreads is because outside of the Virginia game, which kind of does resemble in a way somewhat what we will get in this contest. And mind you, Wake Forest lost by 8 to UVA. I think this is one where Duke may win by another 30 banger. So I'm going to lay it with the Blue Devils. I know it's probably a trendy favorite pick, but at home, I don't think Wake Forest can keep pace. This one could get ugly, so I feel confident as the Blue Devils look to score probably even a repeat of the last 3 of the last 5 games where they've eclipsed the 100-point mark. So if they do that, they'll cover 20 with ease. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for. So if you want to get into a more attractive way to bet this, we can look into Duke team total. I'll pull that up for you guys as we go into the team props, and you can see right now the best number available is if we want to go, and even some plus money is kind of attractive as well, as you could look for Duke 85, over 85.5 at plus 136. That is something that does entertain me, I'm not going to lie, and you can see that's kind of a very significant angle if you want to get into that. But Duke, last time they played against Wake, 63-56 winning, back in January. So this is a different Blue Devils team. They're scoring with ease, and they're not taking their foot off the gas pedal for anyone. Beating Illinois at home, 110-67, Stanford 106-70, and Florida State 100-65. So I think the best bet here is to lay the 20.5 if you want to get a little bit risky and take the Duke Blue Devils over team total. You could even play an alternate total, which might be kind of something that I do look into, taking them potentially over 91.5, play them to get 100 points. It's worth a gamble at this moment in time at plus 350 or better odds. It's also something that does make sense from a positive EV. So if you want to get into more of a risky bet, take the Blue Devils to score a crap ton of points and cover the 20.5 against Wake. Okay. Further down the board, we do have one more play, but I want to give you guys some of my other numbers that I do like. Almost joined in here on the Southern money line, okay? This is a very, very sharp play where there's a lot of money on the Florida A&M Rattlers, plus 3.5 at home. If you look at the first game Southern played against them, this was a blowout for the Jaguars over taking Florida A&M, and kind of where it leads me to just kind of one of those fishy numbers. So I'm staying away from this one, but everything about this game says Southern should be almost a double-digit favorite. So seeing them now at minus 3.5 on the road, it gives me some pause. And then looking at the betting splits and seeing how much of the handle is actually on A&M, it really does kind of smell from a mile away. So I'm going to stay away from this game, but I do have a lean towards Southern. I think this is one where it's a bad matchup, and if there's nothing fishy going on, Southern should win this game handedly. Okay. Next, let's get down the list as we get into some more games. The one game that I want to share with you guys before I get into my official play, it's a little bit down the board. Oh, UCLA, Northwestern. There we go. So, 9 o'clock tip-off. Northwestern at home. This is one of those Big Ten West-East kind of travel spots where UCLA, 29 on the season, has to go to the great state of Illinois. And get hosted by the Wildcats of Northwestern. And Northwestern's been kind of that scrappy team as of late, and now getting 3.5 at home. That is the sharp side. That is the correct side, and it is going to be the side that I would give out as a lean, but I'm not going to get involved in this whatsoever. Okay, every time I bet against or for UCLA, they're kind of one of my stay away teams. It's just not been profitable for me consistently on the year, and I do bet numbers, I bet spots, but I also kind of bet trends with teams, right? If they can't deliver for me and stick within my what I'm setting out to do from a betting strategy, then I kind of just exclude them from my day-to-day, okay? Couple other games that I will give you guys some leans. Kansas and Houston, one of the marquee games we'll be watching, 9 o'clock tip-off. This is a game where I want to just point out why I'm staying away from this game. Kansas is absolute dog crap. Number one team ranked through the better portion of the year and just falling flat on their face. I'm staying away from the Jayhawks, even though you can get almost 10 points in this matchup. Houston, number one defense in the country. That's undoubted, not even into question. And them at home, 25-4 on the season. I think this is one where Houston rolls. I like Houston minus 9.5. You can find minus 9s out there. I know they've been inclined to take some nose dives where they sleep a little bit, get caught sleepwalking. But we're hearing some crazy stuff talking out of Bill Self, him moving on possibly, just sick of the boosters. I mean, I was at a bar the other day watching some, enjoying some wings, watching some basketball. Nothing really was going on in terms of betting. And just some random lady from Kansas. I'm from Ohio. Just started talking to me about how she, had some ill will against Mr. Self. So crazy fan base down there. Definitely not reflective of that program. Especially they were one of my preseason teams to win it all, and that was before they got that number one ranking. To be honest, so. I like Houston. It's just a fishy number. Houston should blow them out. And the one thing that I'll tell you guys why I'm staying away from this game the most notable data point is because Kansas, I believe, for my money, Kansas was the college basketball team that has put up the most points on Houston, almost 90, I believe, in one single game. So keep that in mind. So that's kind of why I'm staying away from this. If you think we get a repeat of that, if you think Houston can score 100, then maybe lay the 10. But I'm staying away from this game. Albeit my gut does tell me though that Houston does blow them out and really does hold serve. Okay, Wichita State. I like the points in this one. Very good streak of covering the numbers on the road. North Texas, though, is the class of that conference, 21-6, 17 or 12-3 in conference. So that's a tough one. One of the class teams you got out there. Jackson State, I do lean over 147.5 as well. And those were some of the picks that almost made my card. But the last bet we are going to talk about is I do like Nicholls State quite a bit today in action. Okay, so Nicholls State is going to be a team that we're backing. That is my final play. I know it's just a 2-pick day, but that's okay. I'm not going to force picks here. Nicholls State 12-3 on the road, covering at 80%. They've been an outstanding ATS team as well. And as we look at this game, where you talk about it, they've been on a pretty good streak of winning, and this is a fishy spot, but I still got to take it. Really and truthfully, I think the wrong team's favored. Sometimes we get that. Sometimes we'll fall flat on our face. But I do like Nicholls State in this matchup, and that will be my best bet of the day, where we look to take the Colonels getting it done on the road against Lamar. So we got a little Colonels and Cardinals going on, and that's all right. So that's where I'm at. Those are my best bets. Just a quick recap. I do want to tell you guys that on the road, Nicholls State, 7 out of their last 8 games. All right, so that's how I feel about it. I think they're a great road team. Lamar does give me some pause. This will be a good battle, 18-12 on the season. You get the home team, but I do think Nicholls State is the right side, so that will wrap up my best bets. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Join us here at TBM Sports. Appreciate you guys giving me a couple minutes of your time, starting your day off in the right direction. Just to recap, I gave you guys a lot of leans. My best bets, though, we're going to lay the 20.5 with Duke and Nicholls State plus 2.5. That's what I'm locking in today. So good luck. Happy Monday, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow in the next video. Cheers.